Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Carrie and this is my first YouTube tutorial. So if you want to see how I created this rose gold cut crease makeup look, then just keep watching. So starting with a nice clean base, I'm just going in with the Olay 2-in-1 Firm and Lift Serum. I'm just going to start applying that to the top section of my face because I'm going to move on to the bottom once I finish the eyes. So I just want to make sure this top half is ready for makeup. After that I'm going to go in with the 2-in-1 Firm and Lift Hydration Primer. Apply that in the same areas. Then I'm going to be mixing the Lumi Primer with the Maybelline Superstay, and I'm in the shades Warm Sun and Light Beige mixed together. I like to customise my own shade when I self tan, that way as my tan fades I can change the shade of my foundation. So I'm just dotting that all over. Then I'm going to blend it out using the Miracle Complexion Sponge by Real Techniques. So as I said, I'm going to be doing my eyes first before I do my base, but in order to do my eyes I like to have my brows done. So if I put foundation up here first, it lets me go in, do my brows and then do the base without having to worry about messing up the brows, if that makes sense. I'll see you later on. So using a makeup remover wipe, I just clean up any of the foundation that's got up into the brow. And using a spoolie, I'm just brushing my brow hairs up and into place, ready to apply my brow products. I'm going in with the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette and I'm using the shade Warm Taupe. Now I just spray my eyebrow with plain water. It helps the shadows stick. Now, there's no rule that says that you can't use an eyeshadow as an eyebrow product. I mean, I do because it matches my hair colour rather well, I would say. So I start by defining the tail of the brow, extending it slightly as mine seemed to fall short. Then I go and I work on the arch of the brow. As you can see, I'll come a wee bit closer. I've got some hairs missing there, but that's where my natural arch would lie if I hadn't plucked the life out of them when I was younger. So then I just underline the front of the brow. I don't really put a lot of product in the front of my brow because I mean I do have quite a lot of hairs there at the front, so I don't want it to look blocky, and if I add too much in then it gets very blocky very fast. So then just using the spoolie I soften up the line that I've just put there, brushing my brow hairs up and making sure that all the shadow is blended in nicely. So then I'm going to go in with the Collection Concealer in the shade Lemon, and I'm just going to use this to tidy up the brow. And I'm just using a flat concealer brush. This brush doesn't have a name, I'm afraid, it's just one that I got out of an eBay set. But any flat concealer brush will do, so long as it's not too big and it's quite firm so it's not flopping about. And I just blend that out using the same sponge as before. So I like to set my brows using some transparent soap. I just spray a little bit of water onto the soap bar and I rub my spoolie in, makes it into a little paste. Then I take this and I put it through the brows, brushing them back first. This gives it something to stick to when I push them up onto my skin. I find brow gel just isn't strong enough to hold my brows, whereas this holds them in place nicely. And I just do that to both brows, making sure they're even. So now I'm just going in with the Makeup Revolution concealer in the shade C1, and I'm just priming the rest of my eyelids using this concealer. So I dot it on and then I just use the same sponge as before and blend it out. So I'm going to set that concealer using the Maybelline Matte Maker in the shade Classic Ivory. I've not heard much about this powder, but I really like it, gets the job done, and it's really inexpensive. So I'll just put that on both of my lids to prime. I'm using the Jaclyn Morphe palette today, and the first shade I'm going in with is Silk Cream, and I'm taking that on an M513 blending brush. And I'm just going to start lightly applying that in my transition area. Now that's any area from my eyelid up to my brow bone. I don't take it directly underneath my brow bone because I like to keep that area light and highlighted. But as you can see, it's just a very light wash of colour all in that area, and I'm slightly winging it out. When I go in with a second layer, I keep it lower down and more towards my crease, just to have a gradient effect going from darker to lighter as you go higher up towards the brow. And again, I'm winging that out slightly, making sure it's all blended and there's no harsh edges. So the next shade I'm going in with is Creamsicle and Butter, and I'm taking that just on the same brush. So I'm not taking this shade as high as I took the first shade, I'm keeping it again down towards where my crease is. And I'm starting by lightly blending it from the outer corner into the inner corner. I'm just using very light pressure on my brush. It helps get a nicer blend, and I'm winging this out slightly too. I'm going to try and not cut out too much of the blending process out on the eyes, because I think you need to see how much blending does go into it to create, you know, a nice blended eye look. So if I have to skip through bits, then I will, just to make it go a bit faster, but I'll try not to. So now I'm going in with the shade Pukey, and I'm going in with a Morphe M514 blending brush. This brush is similar to the brush we just used, it's just on a smaller scale. So again, I'm keeping this shade low down towards my crease area, more or less in my crease really, and I'm starting on the outer edge, building up most of the colour on the outer corner. Once I've got hardly any product left on my brush, I start to drag it through to the inner corner of my eye. And I'm just using windshield wiper motions just to lightly buff this in and wing it out. Again, I don't use a lot of pressure. You can see the bristles on my brush aren't really bending. You get a smoother blend if you're just using lighter pressure. So I just build this shade up slowly, using a small amount of product on my brush, and then I blend, outer corner to inner corner. Then I add more if need be. I just don't like going in with too much on my brush at once, because then it's really hard to blend it out. You can always add more if you've not got enough, but it's a lot harder to take it away. So just windshield wiper motions and blending it out slightly to using the first brush that we'd used in the crease. And I'm winging this out slightly as well. So now I'm going in with the shade Hunts on the same brush, and again I'm just using a small amount of product, tapping off the excess and starting right in at the crease, right on the outer corner, and lightly buffing it in towards the inner corner of my eye. I really want an even application of this. I want it to be just as pigmented on the outer corner as it is on the inner corner. So to do that, I really need to build it up slowly and be careful, because as you can see, this is quite a bright colour. So again, windshield wiper motions, and then I switch to circular motions when I've got next to no product left on my brush, just to blend it into the shades we've put down before. And I'm winging this out slightly too. As you can see, I lift my brows so that it stretches that area so that I can get a smoother blend. Just a little tip, helps you blend in there. Here's me, I'm going in with more product again. Just slightly building it up. Winging it out on the outer corner. Sorry, I'm watching TV in this bit. Pay attention, Carrie, get back on my blending. So I'm using the bigger, fluffier brush that we used before to blend that out. Now I'm going in with the shade Jax and I'm using that on an M506 blending brush. This is just a tiny brush, and again I'm using very minimal product here because this can go so wrong so quickly if you're not careful. So I'm keeping this lower than before and slightly buffing this from the outer corner and bringing it in towards the inner corner and winging it out slightly at the edge again. This is another shade I'm going to build up gradually. So when I first go in with it, I'm wanting to make sure it blends into the other colours I've put down. Then I'm going to start building it up. And I just start the same way with each layer I go in with. Starting right down at the crease, right in the outer edge, and then I'm going to bring it in towards the centre. I'm going to be cutting the crease, and this will be the main shade that you see at the bottom. So I want it to be deep, but I do need to build it up gradually. So using windshield wiper motions and little circular motions, hardly any pressure on my brush. Now I'm not going to cut any of this out because I go in a few times, as you can see. You know, this is a really deep shade if you see it in the pan. I do want that intensity on my eyes, but you just need to work to get it. You can't just put too much on. You'll have a really tough time blending out if you do. I'm going in with another layer. And this time I'm kind of having a look on my eyes just to see where I might need more pigment. The more you blend it, the more, you know, the seamless it's going to look. Just making sure they're both even at this point. So I'm just blending this out with the fluffy brush we used to put down the first transition shade. Just making sure there's no harsh lines. And then back in with the M506. And the final blend using the E27 by Morphe. So now I'm going in with a makeup remover wipe, and I'm just slightly cleaning up where I'm going to cut the crease. I'm not putting the exact shape down here, I'm just wanting to get a lot of the shadows off the lid. And that's for two reasons. One, I don't want it to change the colour of my concealer when I put it down. And two, it lets me see, you know, what shape I'm working with here to see if, you know, it's deep enough at the base or if I need to deepen it up a little bit. And you'll see I do actually go in and deepen it up a little bit more. So back in with the M506, I'm just slightly winging it out a bit more. Now I'm going in with the Makeup Revolution concealer in the shade C1, and I'm going to use this to cut the crease using the same flat concealer brush as I used before. And I'm going to slowly carve it out, and I'm going to take my time. The more precise you are with this step, the more polished it's going to look at the finished result. So you really want to make sure you're making that line as sharp as you can. Very light pressure on my brush at this point. Just smoothing everything out, tapping it down with my brush, making sure my line is crisp. So now I'm going in with the shade Little Lady on just that same flat concealer brush, and I'm just going to pat it on right up to that cut crease that we've made. Slowly packing on the pigment. So I've pretty much put this shade all over my whole eyelid. Because I've winged it out a fair bit, I've got quite a lot of space to work with. I'm just smoothing it all out, making sure that I've got that nice all over pigment. So now I'm going in with the shade Firework. I'm going to start packing this on the outer edge of my eye, keeping it right close up to that cut crease and feathering it in to the first shade we've put down on the lid. I just want one to fade into the other. So I wet my brush because it wasn't as intense as I want it to be, and then went back in just with the same shade just to build that colour up. If you wet your shadows, it makes it go on more pigmented, and if it's a shimmer, it makes it look a bit more foiled. Just a little tip for anyone that doesn't know it by now. And then again, slightly feathering it on into the shade we put down previously. You don't really want to be able to see where one starts and the other finishes. So I'm just cleaning up any fallout that's come onto my cheeks from that eyeshadow. And then I'm going to apply the Olay 2-in-1 Smoothing Serum. Just putting this all over on my face, ready for my foundation. I'm also going back in with the Olay 2-in-1 hydration primer and putting this on too. So now I'm going to dot the foundation on my face, just the same combo as I used at the beginning. And I'm going to blend this in with my Miracle Complexion sponge. Again, I might speed this clip up, but I didn't want to cut anything out because I wanted to show that I do spend quite a lot of time making sure this is really pressed into the skin, blended out, because the more time you spend perfecting your base, the better your overall makeup's going to look. This isn't something that you want to just, rush through and do it quickly. You really want to take your time, get up close, have a look at your skin, and make sure there's no bits you've missed. Don't forget the ears and to drag it down your jawline. You don't want to see where your foundation stops. So I've got a little bit extra left on my palette, so I'm just going to put what's left over just on my cheeks where I get redness. And I'm going to blend that in. I'm going for full coverage today, why not? Go big or go home, right? So now I'm going in with the Makeup Revolution Concealer in the shade C1. And I'm going to put this underneath my eyes. Now this is the first time I'd used this concealer, so I used way too much. I mean, I had a bit of trouble blending it out. So I'm just putting this on underneath my eyes in a triangular shape. It just covers up my dark circles and brightens up the centre of my face. So again, I'm using the Miracle Complexion sponge and I'm just pouncing that. And as you can see, I'm like, oh, I've put too much on. I'm trying to contain it to try and keep it where I want it to be. I don't want it everywhere on my face. It would kind of defeat the purpose of brightening this area. So I'm making sure I really press this in, taking my time with it again, making sure it blends nicely into the foundation. So now I'm putting it down the centre of my face. I just want to balance out the under eye. It will look a bit silly if I've just got, you know, bright under eyes and the centre of my face is still a lot darker. Make sure this line down the centre of your nose is straight, otherwise you'll give yourself a wonky looking nose. If you want a wonky looking nose, then go for it, but it's not the look I was going for. So now I'm blending this out. And again, really get up close and have a look. Make sure everything, you know, nothing's looking too cakey or built up. Just smooth it all out, take your time, really work that in. So now I'm going to set that with the Maybelline Matte Maker again. Just making sure there's no creases under my eyes. If you go ahead and put powder on and there's creases there, you're just going to make the creases stay, they won't budge. So make sure you smooth out your under eye before you go in and set it with powder. And I'm also setting the centre of my face with that same powder. So now I'm going in with the Real Techniques powder brush and I'm just going to set the rest of my face. As you can see, I start by tapping the powder in. Got all that powder flying about the place. But I start by tapping the powder in, and once I've got an even layer, then I can start, you know, doing a gentle buffing with my brush. If I go ahead and start buffing with my brush straight away, I'm going to move the concealer that I've just put down and disturb the foundation. That's not what I want to happen. So now I'm using the Colour Fix 2 palette from Technic to contour with. And I'm going in with this shade down here. And I'm using a tulip shaped brush. Sorry, I don't have a name for this. Again, it's from the same set off eBay. But you can see where I'm placing it here. Where you place it is really going to depend on where your cheekbones are and where you want your cheekbones to be. I bring mine up a little bit just to give the illusion that I have higher cheekbones than I actually have. So I do that on both sides. And I bring it down my nose slightly. I don't give myself too heavy a nose contour. I just like to define it and to balance out my features slightly. And underneath my lip. I also go around my hairline. Again, it's just to balance out the face. Make sure to get it right in at your hairline, just so that you don't have a line where it finishes. And under my jawline. Then I'm going in with the Maybelline Master Sculpt in the shade Light Medium. This is actually for contour, but I quite like it for bronzing because it's not too dark, it's not too orange or red toned. It's nice, I like it. And you can see where I'm placing that. Just being sure to blend that in. Most of it's about balance again. This helps blend out the contour. I don't like too harsh a contour, so this really helps blend that out and adds a little bit more warmth to my face. So now I'm going in with the Mary Luminizer by the Balm, and I'm taking this in R12 highlighting fan brush. And I'm going to place this on the high points of my cheeks and really blend it in. Also add a wee bit above the arch of my brow. Anywhere that would catch the light, if it was shining, that's where I like to put it back on. And I do the same on the other cheek as well. Also put a little bit on my chin. Now this is actually a nail art brush, but I think it's really good for fine highlighting, so I use that down the centre of my nose. Tiny little bit on the tip. And then I take some and I put it along, what do you call that, the philtrum? You know, the wee lines that go from your cupid's bow up to your nostril. And then I'll get the cupid's bow as well. And then just making sure I've got right at the arch of the brow. So now I'm going in with the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso, and I'm using the Real Techniques blush brush for this. Oh, I really love this blush. I mean, you can see it really starts to bring the whole look together. It blends the bronzer in with the highlight, and oh, I just love it. So now I'm going to set that using the Revolution Fixing Spray. It's the illuminating one. I just spread this all over. Then taking the foundation off my lips. And now I'm going in with the Glam Crystals by Collection. And I just thought that there wasn't enough contrast between the crease shade and, you know, the lid shade. So I'm just adding a little line, you know, between the two. And you know, this gold glitter, I think it really complemented the look, and I'm glad I put it in the end because I wasn't planning on it. So now I'm using the Lancome art liner, and this is the fun part. I hate liner. I'm still getting used to liner. Liner hates me. I hate liner, and a lot of the time I leave it out because I'm atrocious at applying liner, especially a winged liner. But if I don't start practicing, I'm not going to get better, and believe it or not, I am a little bit better than when I first started, and that's down to practice. So if I keep at it, then hopefully I'll get better. But anyway, I did start by putting a thin line towards my lash line, and now I'm just starting with the wing. So I'm just starting a line, you know, the flick up at the side. Now this is nearly finished. I'm shaking it up. You know, there's nothing worse than putting on winged liner, unless you've got to put on winged liner with a liquid liner that's drying out. So now I'm just thickening up that wing a little, messing about with it. Oh, I've cut bits out of this and everything, but I was like, oh Carrie, just leave the wing alone, just leave it. You're going to ruin it. You're going to ruin the whole look. Put the liner down. So anyway, I went on to the Rimmel Scandaleyes gel liner, and I'm going to use this to tightline. So basically that's just putting on the waterline on the top and on the bottom and trying to get over the trauma of applying a winged liner. The struggle's real. So I'm not going to put any falsies on today, so I'm just going to curl my lashes. This will just make them appear longer. And I'm going in with the L'Oreal Lash Extatic Mascara. I really like this one, it really fans my lashes out, you know, and adds volume and length. So I'm just making sure to put plenty of product down by the roots of my lashes. And then I wriggle it through, and as you can see I rotate the wand as I move it through my lashes. This makes me get the most out of the product, really coats the lashes. So yeah, I'm just making sure that I'm not getting any clumps and whatnot. So now I'm going in with these two shades here, and I'm going in with an M321 crease brush, and I'm just applying that to the lower lash line. Gradually building it up. So now I'm going to go in with a small smudging brush and this black in the palette. Sorry, I don't have a name for this smudging brush either. Any smudger brush will do. I'm just running this along the roots of my lower lashes to kind of smoke out that lower lash line slightly. Meeting it up to where I put the gel liner and just smudging it through, softening it out as I go. Now I'm taking a clean Zoeva 227 brush, there's nothing on this, I'm just going to use this to diffuse that lower lash line, really soften it out, I don't want it to look too harsh. Then I'm going in with Beam, and I'm taking that on an E36 detail crease brush, and I'm just going to put this in the inner corners to highlight them. I'm also going to put this shade up onto my brow bone. This really makes it pop, as you can see. Make sure to blend it out. Now I'm just going to put some mascara on my lower lashes. So now I'm going in with the NYX Lip Lingerie in the shade Bustier, and I'm just going to apply that to my lips. And then going in with the Benefit Sugar Bomb lip gloss, I'm just going to put that over top. And here's the finished look, you guys. If you liked this video, please be sure to like, thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and leave a comment in the comment section down below of any looks you would like me to do next. Thanks, bye! So that's the finished look, you guys. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to see more videos, and leave a comment with any other videos that you would like to see in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. Bye!